So I'm in and it says dashboard. That's
You're-
all I can see.
No, you're close then. I think you click on that dashboard.
Okay, go to meeting, live.
Meetings and committees at the top of the page.
Meetings and committees, the top left-hand corner. There's a little red drop-down box. Click
Yeah,
live meeting.
I don't see a little red drop down box.
If you just click on meetings and committees, it should still give it to you.
I don't see any of that.
Do you see the city seal?
Nope.
Right above where it says dashboard?
I don't have a city seal up there. This happened to me once before when I was trying to log in with you guys and I never saw it. Let me just go to Zoom meetings and just do it orally.
Okay.
I'm taking up too much of your time.
Okay. I've got to still read a script, so I'm going to go ahead and start reading the script before we can call it to order. Is everybody good?
Okay, and we are on record. So.
Okay. So I'm going to welcome everybody to the Pre-Qualification Review Board meeting of June 10th. Thanks for joining us for the City of Oklahoma City's video conference meeting. We have a few announcements to make regarding the virtual meeting. If the video conference is disconnected at any time during the meeting shall be stopped and reconvened once the audio connection is restored. If communications are unable to be restored in 15 minutes, items remaining for consideration will be continued to today, June 10th at 1 p.m. via teleconference. The agenda and documents are located on okc.gov. Anyone wishing to speak about an agenda item, public hearing, or to speak under comments from board members, staff, and citizens, please call 405-297-2293 or text 405-403-5256 or email prequal@okc.gov. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes to comment. I ask that all participants except the Pre-Qualification Review Board members keep their phones on mute until they're recognized to speak. The Pre-Qualification Review Board will be allowed to ask questions or comment at any time during the meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Francis, can you verify quorum?
Yes, quorum is present.
Great. Well, hopefully everybody's got a copy of the agenda in front of them. We also sent out the minutes. So looking for any comments on the minutes. And a motion to approve.
Okay, I'm not getting my voting button. I did, and
Yeah, I didn't get any voting buttons either. It just says,
So Francis, it made a motion from you, I can see.
okay, click escape twice. That's what I had to do.
okay.
Looks like it's waiting on a second.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Laura, do you have your little Chrome icon at the bottom of your screen?
Oh, wait, I found it. Never mind.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Go ahead and cast your vote. Chris, how would you vote?
Yes.
Okay. Minutes are passed. Thank you. We're going to move to the consent docket. Give you a summary of what's on the consent. We do have a total number of 22 applications on the consent docket. 18 are renewals. We do have 1 new application, and then we have 3 that are removing conditions. The breakdown of them is 8 of them are 15 are local, 2 are non-local, and 5 are out of state. Are there any questions on any of the items on the consent docket? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve? Got a motion from Laura, a second from Francis. Please cast your votes. Chris, how would you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed. We're going to move to applications requiring separate vote. We do have a number of applications that are on today. We just simply did not have enough time to fully review each of these to make recommendations before the meeting, which is the only reason that they're on here. I know we have staff available to answer questions if there are any, and we can just go through these one at a time. First one is for A1 trenching. And then we have some different recommendations for approval. And I think, Chris, at this point, I would like to defer to you and your staff on, since all these are water related, as to which class you're recommending.
So on A1, we are recommending a water pipeline contractor limited to work that will not become property of the city.
So if you have the agenda in front of you, would that be the first, the second, or the third option, or is it something different?
It's the,
We have a class A, a class B, or a class C.
Well,
This-
but Eric, the class A is bore, the class B is paving, and the
Yeah,
class
yeah,
C is water pipeline contractor. So it appears that it's recommending all three.
I see that now. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. And then Chris, I think what you were asking was that it be restricted to private work in the right of way. Is that what I heard?
yes, it's listed that way, Eric, Class C, a water pipeline contractor limited to work that will not become property of the city, and we're good with that.
Okay.
But then the class A and class B, Chris, do you have any objection to those?
No,
Okay.
And Eric, how are you feeling about those? Because those are more, well,
I think-
they're both working the right of way, but
Yeah, we were fine with them, I believe. So Jose, I know you're online. Did we have any comments that we need to share? You may have to come off of mute.
Yes, I think we're good on those. It was just more of the water related, but we were listing every class that they requested, so.
Okay. So with no further questions on item for A1 trenching, is there a motion to approve? Got a motion and a second. Go ahead and cast your votes here in just a minute. Okay. Chris, how would you vote?
yes,
Thank you. Motion passed. So the other items are going to follow similar, just as we've done this first one. So the second one is for Crossland Heavy Contractors. Again, you'll see that we've got the recommendation for a bridge class and 30-day extension on a water class.
and the 30-day extension is because why? I didn't see the rationale there.
Laura, they just didn't provide enough information, but they've done, I'm sorry, this is Crystal Kowalik. They've done this work in the past, so we think that a 30-day extension is acceptable while they finish up getting us a little more information.
Okay.
Are there any questions on item A2? Crossland Heavy? Seeing none. Motion? Got a motion? We have a second. Chris, how would you vote?
yes,
Motion passes. We're going to go to A3, Hammer Construction. Any questions or comments on the recommendation for Hammer Construction?
Eric, this is the same situation. We are recommending a 30-day extension for Class B water pipeline. because they did not provide the information for us to move forward with the approval.
Okay. Any additional questions or comments on A3? Do I have a motion? We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Chris, how would you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. We're going to move to item A4, Hunter Mechanical Controls. Again, there's a recommendation listed. Any additional comments on the water portion?
No.
Okay. The motion for Hunter Mechanical Controls, item A4. We have a motion, we have a second. Go ahead and cast your vote. Chris, how would you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. We're going to move to item A5, Gerlo Construction Company. Recommendations included. It includes the language for the 30-day extension. I assume that's for the same reasons as the previous two, for holding for additional info.
Yes.
Any additional comments on A5?
I just want to mention that in the future, it might be good to put a little bit of information like that on the agenda so that it can also be easily recorded in the minutes, that that's the only reason that action was taken, was that we were waiting on additional information.
Okay, we can do that. We have a motion to approve A5, Gerlo Construction. We have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote. Chris, how would you vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Motion-
You just click my yay button.
We only got a couple and we're almost there. We're going to move to A6, Matthews Trenching Company. It's also got the 30-day extension. Chris, any additional comments on that other than holding for additional info?
No, not at this time. So Eric, on this one, it has a 90-day conditional approval and a 30-day extension. So I'm not real sure what we're going to do with that.
Well, if we approve it today, it'll be a 90-day conditional for those first two classes, Class A, bore demo, stormwater all water, as they're listed in the agenda, and then the 30-day will just be for the water class.
That's fine.
Okay, and then there's also provisional on the 30-day. So if there's no changes to the recommendation, is there a motion to approve? This is item A6. We got a motion? We got a second? Please cast your vote. Chris, how would you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed. We're going to go to A7, Miller Tippins Construction Company. Recommendations included. This has a 90-day conditional clause in it. It does not include the 30-day. Maybe we update on this one if we're not. Is this also waiting on additional information, Jose, or is this something different?
This one is in the 90 days should be the financials.
Okay.
So is that the difference, Jose, that for 90 days, it's financials to give us time to not only receive, but evaluate the financials, where on the 30 days, it's just other performance information that's needed?
Correct. The 90 days are standard for the financials, and the 30 is just so we can get that additional info.
Okay. And do we have so many of these this time for a reason? I mean, is it that people are not submitting things that they should be with their application? Is this an unusual amount? You just didn't have time to follow up on them? What happened that made it so many this time?
I think a lot on both ends, the pandemic, contractors getting information to us. Also, this last year, June, is when we kind of transitioned SRB to start looking at these and then trying to figure out how we were looking at their information, their project experience. So if we look at last year's 2019, a lot of these were actually deferred. And so what we're trying to be careful with is not deferring them and then letting a pre-qual lapse and then having a problematic issue within this 30 days.
Okay.
So we're allowing them to give us additional info as well as us making sure we have the correct information and move forward the way we need to move forward on these.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if there's a continuing problem with contractors providing the correct information at the time of their application. If we don't need some sort of training or outreach to the Contractors Association or something like that, that would help them supply the correct information at the time their application's filed.
Go ahead. I was just
Okay.
going to say, we're going to transition again, Laura, too, as we go to electronic applications. There may be some additional training, so we can definitely reach out. And I think we have some optimism that the electronic application will make it more efficient too. So
Right. I just, there's always a problem when you notice a recurring issue that's coming from multiple different contractors, especially contractors that have done business with the city for a long time. You have to wonder if they've had a turnover in staff or if the rules just are not clear to them or what's going on there, because there's a lot of these this time. And I'm not trying to be critical about it. I'm just trying to look for solutions.
Laura, this is Crystal Kowalik. I would also like to say that a lot of them are waiting to the very last minute to submit some of their stuff. And so when things are found, it's hard to get them, the turnaround time is too quick for them to get the stuff they need in when we.
Sure. And I do understand that, but it wouldn't matter if they waited to the last minute if they knew what they were supposed to submit, if they had all that information in. I mean, Alex might still be overwhelmed with financials to evaluate, but the other parts wouldn't be as out there. So, I do hear what you're saying though, Crystal.
So going back to A7, do we have a motion to approve A7, Miller Tippins Construction Company? Got a motion? We have a second. Please cast your vote. Chris, how would you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. We're going to move to the final one that's individual consideration. This is Orcutt Mechanical Contractors. Includes the 30-day extension information that we had on a few others this morning. It does have a defer wastewater facilities until the July 8th meeting. Are there comments on the deferral item that maybe Chris or utility staff might want to share?
Crystal, do you have any comments on that one?
Sorry, I have to take myself off mute. I'm trying to remember now. We just wanted to limit them to the work that did not become the property of the city. They're really more of a class D once that gets approved. But
Crystal, this is Jose. I'll
Yeah.
help out on that one. So the
Okay.
reason that was deferred is this is a class that is new that they requested.
Oh, okay.
So that's why that's a little different than the 30-day extension. So this one wouldn't have a lapse or anything. It's new. So we just want to defer it until we figure out if they qualify for that class.
Thank you. Any additional questions on item A7, A8, I'm sorry, A8, Orcutt Mechanical? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve? We have a motion? And a second? Please cast your vote. Chris, how would you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. So that's going to wrap up our items for individual consideration. We're going to go to item number 5, informational items. Included is a list of 4 contractors with expired pre-qualifications. Staff has updated that they've made multiple contacts with each, with no response from each on these. So these are all going to expire. Is there any questions on the informational items? Seeing none, we're going to move to show cause. We do not have any items for show cause today. We're going to move to item 7, comments from board members, staff, and citizens. One of the items I just wanted to update today on was the Class D paving status. I know that we've been talking about Class D items for both water and paving, and we're making some movement forward on paving Class D. Optimistic that next month at our meeting that we can do a presentation. What we have learned is that, you know, there's really 2 documents that guide us making some changes to add this class. One is going to be the pre-qualification ordinance. And then the second is going to be the resolution approved by the pre-qualification board when we talk about the different classes. And one of the things that we've run into, there's actually 2 city ordinances, not just the pre-qualification ordinance, but there's also a sidewalk ordinance that's going to need to be modified or repealed to make Class D work. So we're starting to lay all the groundwork for that and working with legal on a recommendation to make this as clean and as simple as possible, but it became a little more complicated once we got right down into it. But we do believe we found a way to recommend to the board a paving Class D that will maintain all of the current requirements that, say, a sidewalk or a small contractor would have using a different fee structure. We believe we've also found a way to make it to where if we do these ordinance updates and an update to the pre-qualification resolution, a way to actually do that administratively. And so as we work that forward, I think the water Class D could also align with this. So we may be able to do both at the same time. So that's just as an update today. We've got a lot of documents that we'll be prepared to share next month. And then we'll probably send those out early to the board members so that you can get familiar with those, and hopefully we'll be ready for some questions. Any comments on that? I just wanted to give an update because I know that we kind of talked about Class D water today and that we're waiting to get that for a few contractors as well. So
Now,
Sounds good.
the Class D water won't be affected by the Class D paving delay to change the ordinance, right?
So if we want to do an administrative process, I would say that it might. If we want to make Class D water a administrative approval versus a board approval, I think we're going to have to update the ordinance, which is going to take 3 council meetings.
Okay.
Eric, this is Crystal.
Yeah.
Craig said that Craig Keith told me that water didn't have to go through that same process because they had taken care of it earlier on. I'm not sure how. I'll have to ask him the details of that.
And if we don't have...
This is Haley. May I, Eric? Sorry.
Yes, absolutely.
I was going to say, we actually chatted with Mark Long yesterday, Craig and I, and the conversation was regarding the fee schedule and whether or not there would be a difference between the meter contractors who go to the meter shop for their approval, or between that and a new Class D water. And if there was a difference, he was going to review that, and if there was not, then looking into the difference in fees.
Okay. And I think that would be my comment. I think we found that with pre-qualification ordinance, there's one standard fee for all applications. And I think this board had talked previously about Class D, not just from an administrative approval, but having a different fee structure that might require an ordinance change. So let us finish that conversation, Haley, with you and the rest of the legal team that's been working on this, and we can bring that back to the board next month and update them with what exactly we need to do. So anyway, the comments from you today are more just that we're moving forward, and next month we'll have this back on the agenda. So we'll be prepared for that. Are there other comments from board, staff, or citizens? Seeing none. Nobody signed up to speak, I assume, Francis?
No, sir.
Thank you. We do not have any items for separate votes. Is there any new business that we need to address today? Well, thank you very much. Seeing none, appreciate everybody's patience as we got the meeting started. We're going to go ahead and adjourn. So thank you very much.
So
Thank
Chris, you need to get with the clerk's office and try to figure out what's going on with you with PrimeGov. You might have to like re-enroll in that or something.
So Laura, at one time, when I first did it, it responded the same way it did today, but then the last time it was fine. So I don't know what's going on. It's a hit or miss with PrimeGov for me for some reason.
Okay. All right.
Something that's helped me, Chris, I don't know if you're using two machines, me toggling back and forth was always a problem. So I run Zoom like off my iPad, but then I run PrimeGov off of another computer.
Yeah,
So I
I'm
don't,
just on the one, I'm on the Surface.
right.
And for some reason or another, Francis, if you remember, the first time I tried to log in, you guys kept telling me to look for the city seal. Well, there was no city seal, but then the next time there was. So I don't know what's going on with the formatting.
Okay, well, if we have another video conference meeting, I will meet with you